Hello everybody, it is Nicole from iiKiui, and today we have another Sketch With Me video. I'm really glad to get back into this series because I like how casual it is, and I think it's also a great way for you all to get to know me better if you want to. This video is the first part to this drawing, where I'm only focusing on showing the sketching portion. Next week's video will show the coloring part, as well as how I choose colors for the drawing. So let's not waste any time and hop right into the video. So the title is not really exaggerating. I basically drew one subject for 8 years, starting in preschool until the end of 6th grade. And that subject was horses. You know how they say that kids wish for ponies on their birthdays? Well, I actually did. Of course, I didn't get a pony like I wanted, but I did collect horse stuffed animals and horse toys and all that fun stuff. I'm not sure how or where my fascination with horses started, but I do remember going to the local library and borrowing this horse care book over and over again. I would read about how to braid horse's mane or tail, or how to bandage a horse's leg if it got injured. It was filled with a lot of information that I didn't really need, but I was always interested in learning. If I had my sketchbooks from those years with me, I would show you, but they are at my parents' place. So maybe next time I visit, I can show you on my second channel. The pages were filled with regular horses, fairy horses, mer horses, and even superhero horses. I put horses in clothes. I put mice characters riding horses. I did a lot of horses. You can ask any one of my family members and they can confirm that I drew a lot of horses. Today I wanted to try drawing a horse again, but this time after years of practice drawing. I don't think I've drawn horses much since then, with the exception of more cartoony My Little Pony-like ponies. Maybe that's why I like My Little Pony so much, I don't know, but I definitely still like horses. For this drawing, I wanted to slow down the sketching process to hopefully give you a better idea of how I plan my artwork. I mostly always use regular copy paper to sketch my artwork because it's the easiest to transfer onto a new piece of paper. In the past, I've sketched things in sketchbooks, but using a light box under a sketchbook is kind of tricky, so I would end up cutting out the piece that I needed, which kind of defeated the purpose of keeping it in a sketchbook. So now I opt for the regular copy paper since it's easily accessible, cheap, and it works well for a light box. I used several references when figuring out the pose and horse position. Since I'm definitely no expert in horses, the references helped me with proportions from the human head to the horse head and how the horse's face looked in the front view. I pretty much always use some sort of reference when drawing, usually for a portion of the artwork that I'm uncertain about. I plan to make a more in-depth video in the future showing how I use references in my art, so I hope you look forward to that. I always start with an extremely rough sketch where I plan out the proportions and composition. This step is really important because it helps me figure out where things will go when I make a more refined sketch. It's always tempting to start refining something in the beginning because the starting sketch can look really messy, but I usually try to lay everything out before I start refining parts of the drawing to save myself time and frustration in the future. Once I am happy with the layout, I start refining parts of the drawing. This is the part that usually takes the longest for me because I erase my rough sketch in sections and then I add a clean line. I start by adding the face to the character because this helps me establish the personality that I want the character to emit. As I mentioned in a previous video, I'm not very good when it comes to designing clothes, so adding these details are always the toughest for me. When I'm satisfied with the details, I basically repeat the process of erasing and drawing until I'm happy with the end result. There's probably a more efficient way of doing this, but I found this process works best for me personally. I'd love to hear what your sketching process is and if it differs from mine, or if it's actually very similar. I try to read and reply to all the comments, so let me know what your art process looks like. I really like how this sketch turned out, and typically I do end up liking these sketches more than the final artwork. I think there's just something appealing about the grayscale artwork and the clean line art. Let me know in the comments if you prefer sketches over final art or vice versa. Overall, for this drawing, I think the horse turned out kind of realistic, but I wasn't really sure how to make it more cartoony or fitting for my style. However, I do think that when I color it, it will kind of tie in the style together and hopefully unify it a little bit better. As I mentioned in the beginning, next week's video will focus on how I choose colors and the coloring portion of this piece, so I hope you'll look forward to that. If you enjoyed today's video and want to see more like this, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you're notified of when I post a new video. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know in the comments. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Keep drawing, keep creating, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!